What's up, guys? Welcome in to the Funshop Podcast with Greg and Ronnie.
What's up, man?
What's up? I wasn't sure if
I usually say, how you doing today?
Yeah, right. How are you feeling today, Greg?
I'm feeling okay.
All right.
How about you?
Doing all right. We're streaming live to you from Los Angeles, California. No, I'm doing pretty good. It took me a few days to recuperate after that wild weekend, but I think I'm back to normal.
Yeah, so geeking out was this weekend.
Yeah.
I made it to the opening, I guess, VIP night, as that's all I was able to do, but it was a lot of fun. I got some fun things, and it was a cool show. You know, I'd never been before, and I know that you were, getting set up for it. And it was sort of like a last-minute thing because I was like, yeah, I guess I should go, and then I was like, I should bring some stuff down, and it was cool. It was like, it reminded me of like a really cool old-school show. You know, so many, like, it's obviously getting to that point where, you know, a lot of the dealers are around our age, at least there, you know, they were like, you know, kind of our age, and they had a lot of the stuff that, you know, we collect and we liked, a lot of the 80s toys and stuff.
Yeah. That's where, I mean, this is their third show. It's been like that every time with just the dealers that we know, the vendors from Toy Depot and Whittier, just bringing their stuff and just showing what they got, you know, high-end items, rare items, bootleg items, just everything across the board.
That's what I was excited about. Cody,
Retro Barbarian.
Yeah, I just got to meet him, and his booth was awesome. I think for the limited time that I was there and what I bought most of my items from him.
Yeah, you did. What you got?
You want me to show you?
Sure. Yeah, that's
all right. So the first thing is a bit of a grail of mine. Well, it's something I knew that it existed, but I didn't know that it existed. So I for a while I collected a lot of Mad Balls, especially bootleg ones, and I always liked the knockoffs, the bootlegs, and there was one that seemed to elude me for years, and it was this rubber football of a head that had bandages around it, and no one could ever definitely tell me like who it was or what it was. And then I see Cody setting up, and I see this thing on the shelf, and there it is.
Is this a like a bootleg of the one you're talking about?
No, this is the actually one, but I don't think I've ever seen it with the card. So it's actually supposed to be Gaddafi, and it's like literally his head that you're supposed to kick around, and it says American football made in Taiwan.
Okay. I remember the name Gaddafi. What was he exactly? Was he like, they don't have presidents?
I guess he was kind of the president of Libya, or like a dictator.
In the Middle East?
In the Middle East. Yeah, back in the 80s, he was like kind of like one of the bad guys, you know, like one of the well-known bad guys. He's always kind of, because he's very, you know, he's like very like anti-imperialist, like anti-Western, you know. And actually, I think during like the last Obama term, they actually killed him. There's this like famous quote where Hillary Clinton says, "We came, we saw, he died." And then does her like her cackle.
We zero black 30'd him. Huh?
Yeah. But there's, you know, and there's all these conspiracies like, oh, he wanted to change the money to the gold standard and yada yada. But whatever, you know, he's just like one of those classic, you know, bad dudes from the 80s. And
was he involved with Ollie North?
Oh, like the Iran-Contra shit?
I don't know.
Probably.
There's 80s names that kind of like,
yeah.
I don't know if they're
related. And they called them like, I think back in the 80s, they called him like Wacky Gaddafi.
Okay.
You know, because he was kind of honestly, I'm not a
we're not historians.
I'm not a historian.
Right.
I should know more about Gaddafi, but I don't know a lot about him. But I do know, you know, he was like sort of the, you know, one of, you know, him and like the Ayatollah, you know, of Iran, Khomeini and stuff. So he's like in the same category.
Right,
but
right.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, you never see him in the package. So even people that like kind of remember the ball might not remember.
You know, as a non-sports fan, you're obviously you're bringing a lot of football topic stuff to the table.
Well, man,
as a non-sports fan,
if you're gonna make a dictator into a football, and I'm gonna buy it.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah,
that's letting all you toy makers out there know there's a market for this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I don't think the other thing I got were these really cool wrestling cards.
I remember those too.
From this, I think it was called Lucha Fuerte.
Okay.
And it was a Mexican wrestling show, like a kind of like a Bozo the Clown in the sense, like live studio audience, and it would be on Saturday, and just some incredible. It's a cards that I'd never seen before. I thought that I had put it. No, I didn't put it anywhere that it's accessible. I thought I did, but
just for the audience that are audio only and can't see anyway.
Oh yeah,
why don't we try to because it was like a small set of maybe like 30 to 50 cards.
Yeah, so it was a full printed box. The front of it, like kind of like a little square box.
Yeah.
So on the front was like two photos of wrestlers. On the back, it was kind of like a photo of a live show going on, but the characters were incredible, and so each card had, and they're like curved corners, so they almost look like playing cards, but
right.
they're not glossy, they're matte, and I mean just some of the best like villains. Like there was one guy who looked like Creature from a Black Lagoon,
right.
And there was another guy who was like his weird grasshopper thing, and then they had some other wrestler called like Genghis Khan.
Right. I love
remember
those,
that?
the
Genghis,
Asian guys.
yeah, they had like kind of all these like bad dudes. Like the Asian guys always had like, it was like Genghis Khan. Or
what was the really American one called? Like Mr. Hollywood?
No, there was one guy who was just called like Joe. And he was like a black
better.
dude, like a black army guy.
Right.
And his name was just Joe.
Yeah, like a G.I. Joe guy.
And then there were some of the referees, which were funny just because, like it's always funny to like have like referees for some reason. But it's it was fun, man. Like I really, and then I think so that's actually all I bought was the cards, and then I think I got a sticker from him because I was just really trying to like not buy anything.
Of course.
But I had to buy these. They were just too nice. What about you? What did you pick up, or did you? I know you were selling.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the show was selling, and I mean, I bring my dog Freddie, who's a good boy.
Yeah, Freddie's
a good boy. I bring him everywhere, so I don't get too much time to walk around and take a look. It's mostly like on the way to the restroom or on the way to taking Freddie for his break, and like what I can see on the way. So very little purchasing for me. Coincidentally, the only two things I did buy were both like Ninja Turtle 4-packs, and it's like modern stuff like NECA movie pack, or like Eastman and Laird comic pack. They're always doing like a I don't know if they're considered modern, retro, or whatever, or it's like toys that they never made of like the older stuff. So picked up some of that, and that's pretty much it. Everything. Well, I told you I ain't afraid to admit most of the money that I got I'm recouping back for like podcast equipment. So yeah, it comes in, it goes, and that's just the way money is. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. But
selling toys, trading. We're always trading toys for podcast equipment.
I wish, yeah. I'm totally down to trade. Yeah, right. Cards and
cards and toys. We do need
art.
A new camera, so we eventually have guests on.
I mean, that's next on my list. I cleared some of my credit card stuff. Yeah, that's my next purchase. Is I think like headphones. Headphones you can find cheap. I don't mind getting headphones on like Facebook Marketplace, but yeah, definitely a camera. And maybe,
wait, these are used?
Maybe lights.
These are used. I hope you didn't get these on Facebook Marketplace.
I think I did. No, I'm just kidding. You got those on your own.
I got earbuds.
Oh man.
No, and then the thing that I was the most excited about, which I didn't get to see, but you told me it went really well, was your friend who was tattooing the Labubus.
Yeah, Space Hustle doing the Let me show you.
Do you have any ones that you could show me?
Yeah,
or show the
I do.
audience? So let me while Ron's looking for that. So Ron can say it better. So so he had one of his friends there, and he was a tattoo artist, and he was actually tattooing Labubus.
Okay, so I'll show you the examples. I think I got like 6 or 7 different kinds. You can see the honey. There's one on the left. It's gray fur with rainbow teeth, and he's got like old English honey, with a little barbed wire on the left eye. The one on the right is green, so he's got a little four-leaf clover. I think I remember this lady. This lady was like, "Oh, is there a Labubu tattoo artist here? Like my daughter, like had to get her Labubu tattooed. She heard about it, so the mom was there waiting. But it's a green one. I got a four-leaf clover by the right eye, little green nose, and I guess the number 17 is has some significance to them."
Oh, these are fun.
When I saw this, the one on the left has sneakers on and a full it's like an Adidas jumpsuit, black Adidas jumpsuit with like a black beanie. It had glasses too. When I saw that one, I was like, dude, that's like Jonathan Davis from Korn.
Yeah, or I was gonna say that's like all the hip hop dudes dress in like Germany.
Right. It's Ronnie Size represent. Drummer bass. But the little spider web and the little dagger with the tear and the barbed wire. It just it does add a lot to the personality, right?
Well, it actually looks like tattoos. A tattoo. I wasn't sure. I know, but I wasn't sure how the ink was gonna take. I wish I still had Haunted Harold now. I could have got him tattooed. little 666 behind the ear or something.
Okay, now this one.
Ooh, see, that's cool. That's a vintage one. That's vintage something.
I don't know this character, but I guess they looked at they took a look at the material or the skin and determined that they could do it. So they did the.
What does it say? Fuckus.
Focaccia. Focaccia. I don't know if it's Italian or whatever, but I think it has some meaning among some Latin communities here in LA right now. But little was it the Red Baron Snoopy pilot on the back?
Cute. Yeah,
right, with the little heart on the butt, and I believe on the right arm you can't really see, but they got like a tradition, like a mom tattoo.
Dude, I'm telling you, man, this is what we need to do. We need to bring him to Decon.
Wow,
dude, that's what we should have at the Mishka booth.
Okay,
I think so.
Right, so that's the challenge. Oh wow,
I think it's a good idea.
No, that's a great idea.
I mean, because dude, I think it'd be fun. I mean, I guess there's it's some people would consider him a toy ruiner, but I think this is artistic. This is awesome.
Yeah, and you figure a place like Decon, if you can tattoo Labubus, like you should naturally want to be there already and just be the guy doing that.
See, the thing is, I would say I almost want to buy a Labubu to get it tattooed, but then I saw him tattooing vintage dolls, and I think that would be even cooler.
Yeah, getting tattooed.
I'm honestly, I think I like the artist that created it, but I'm just not I'm not caught up in the hype. But I appreciate it, for what it is.
I've seen some of the clothing that's made for it too, and like the clothing makes me kind of interested in Labubus, their outfits. Actually, the customization for sure.
I pulled this out. Let me go to I pulled this weekend. This is an old Secret Base toy. And this actually is painted by Ganji, who's also a tattoo artist. He's actually in LA now tattooing.
So that one's hand painted.
This is
to look like
this is like hand painted to look like a tattoo from a tattoo artist. So it's not. But I mean, look how cool that is.
It would be interesting to see both techniques used. Yeah,
but I've never heard of somebody actually tattooing like a doll, but it's so interesting, and it actually is really cool on the Labubus. I could see that being, extremely popular at an event.
I think our friend Mabel at their in New Mexico at their tattoo studio, they got some toys. I don't remember if they were Labubus, but I was like, hey, you should get, should pierce some of them, right? So it'd be interesting to see Labubus that were like have piercings and like face tattoos and stuff, or any old toys or plushies like that. I think be interesting as like the next wave of.
Well, and it's curious, right? Because it could be one of those things where some people might look at it as ruining it because you're painting it or putting ink on it, but then this could also create it almost becomes a future collectible. Yeah. Especially if what's the artist name that does it?
Space Hustle.
Yeah. So who knows how many he's gonna paint, and it's one of those things like, these are some of the earliest Space Hustle tattooed Labubus, and so it adds almost a layer to it. Yeah. To the collectability of it.
And it's like documented, the toy show that it was done at and stuff. So it's kind of traceable. You kind of know what it's from.
That's
Yeah,
really cool.
I like that a lot too. Yeah, so we hope to do that at future shows. I already talked to him, and I told him, I'm like, hey, if Labubu's are still kind of what it is now in January, then at the next Toy Depot, at the next Geeking Out, for sure, we'll have him back.
Yeah, see, I don't think I'm gonna get my. So this to me is Labubu, the Monchichi.
That's a Michael Jackson Chi-Chi.
If you're gonna talk about
Michael
a 3-syllable toy, Monchichi.
G.I. Joe.
You see?
Cabbage Patch.
Cabbage Patch. Kid.
Yeah. Where did you get that one?
I got this when I was in China, actually. One of my trips to Shanghai, we were visiting one of the Mishka stores at the time. It was open in this like mall in Shanghai, and the same level they had this little Monchichi shop, and I'd never seen like pop culture Monchichis. So I got this one and an Elvis one. I just thought they were so cool, and I think they might have been exclusive. Actually, I feel like when I looked them up not too long ago, they were like going for a decent amount, but
that's funny because they were like if you look at like the biggest pop stars and like pop history, it would be like Elvis or I guess the Beatles, but like they weren't American, or like it would be Michael Jackson and him. That is funny.
Well, also too with the actually I think I can.
Oh,
I got Elvis here. So there's the Elvis one. Comes with a little guitar, little like 70s jumpsuit. He's got the little kind of a pompadour. Kind of, I think it's been in a bin, so maybe the hair got a little messed up. But
the outfit and the rhinestones and the guitar are the important.
Well, yeah, you kind of have to go with like a figure that kind of screams like what it is. Like you look at that and you're like, oh, it's Elvis.
Yeah,
You're like Michael Jackson.
Like
you got
those. I like it that you got those in China. At least they kind of know what's going on.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's your bootleg item. The bootleg items I got this week actually were from eBay. These are actually let me see. I'm gonna pull my camera up. These are actually a few of the non-nude cards I got, but they are authenticated by Beckett, and they were signed. These are signed by Mia Khalifa. What's interesting with these, like Beckett, they titled them.
Sorry to interrupt. Oh, no, okay, sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
I was going to say, maybe, I think it'd be interesting to tell people about these cards, because I think it's actually a funny story.
Yeah, it's kind of a long story, but yeah, like, there were these, like, Bang Brothers. Oh, here. Or we'll go back to, the,
I should have been touching the controls.
No, it's cool. It's cool. But we're going back to the wide shot, but, yeah, I don't know when it was. I just saw these Bang Brothers cards that looked really official, that had like Fleer and Panini and Topps markings and stuff, and just like we did a lot of research to try to find out where they were from. Like very little information. We went to card shows, went to Burbank Card Show, went to Front Row Card Show, like looking around, asking about them, and like nobody knew what the heck I was talking about and stuff. So like it was hard to find information, and we finally found like some sellers on like Etsy.
It was Etsy. Yeah, we found the guy.
Yeah,
we found the guy selling them. So essentially what it was this guy. I don't even remember where they were coming from, but this was sort of during, I think it was kind of in the, it was like in the early days of even gas. It was kind of like, it was sort of this, it was kind of like people were sort of making art cards. They were making, essentially, well, it's funny because on the slab, it actually says counterfeit trading card. It says
counterfeit trading card.
Which is actually not true, because it isn't a counterfeit. It's more of like a fantasy trading card or a art card than a counterfeit, because there aren't real Bang Brothers ones.
No.
And if no one's a degenerate like Ronnie, not me, I barely knew anything about it. But I guess Bang Bros is a production company, and so it was all these very famous porn stars. But the best thing was, you could get signed cards. But if you bought a bunch of them, you realize that all the signatures were all fake. Well, they all look the same.
Yeah.
Like the guy
Different
guy
markers.
Barely, but that's the thing, is he didn't even try to mask the fact. And we actually saw some were like authenticated by like PSA, right?
Yeah, we had no idea how they passed.
We have no idea how they passed, but these are interesting. So I guess go back to your camera so people could see. But
so these were authenticated by Beckett. They do say counterfeit, but the autographs are authenticated.
Well, if you see, like, hold it still so you could see. So if you see, like, this, hold on, show him we'll show him, like, we'll show him the fake autograph and the real autograph. I think that's what makes it cool. So the blue marker.
Right.
Yeah, so why it's even slabbed is the blue marker is the fake autograph.
Yeah, on the
but then
bottom.
underneath, someone actually got Mia Khalifa to sign it, which I think's really funny that
No, it's
she
the
would
opposite.
actually.
It's the opposite.
Oh, it is?
The autograph on the bottom is the printed one,
Oh.
and the handwritten one is the authentic. The one on the bottom is actually like a computer like handwritten. So that one's not the real one. The marker one is the real one.
Okay, well, I'm a total moron, but
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's the fact that these quote unquote bootleg cards
Yeah.
have passed authentication. They've been labeled as counterfeit, but they authenticated the.
So do you think
real
this is a
autograph.
real signature then?
I think it is. I mean, I've seen enough of the fake ones.
Right.
This doesn't look like one of the fake ones that we've seen.
Beckett, I will say, as even though Beckett has kind of been they've sort of dropped between even, well, I don't know about now, but for a while it's like they even fell below, it was like kind of like PSA, SGC, CGC, and then Beckett. But their autograph, the guy who runs the autographs is pretty respected, and I think they're pretty tough,
Right.
as far as authentication. So, point being is it's hard to get something past them.
Right.
So,
Right.
I don't know. I think it's a cool score, and it's obviously when we started Gas, our cards were, there were some licensed, but they were more we'd call like art cards or sort of using people that are public figures.
Yeah, like the public domain
type stuff.
Right.
But around
Pop
that
culture.
time, a lot of people started to emulate what we were doing. I mean, it's always kind of been a thing, sort of people making custom cards and art cards and stuff. But when we started it, I kind of started to see more brands. There was like a couple of our friends like and collectors of Gas, like Paper Chase and like heavy cards.
Right.
But
right.
then there's other guy Piggy Banks who kind of like blew up. But to me, like, look, I could appreciate it for what it is, but it's a little more gimmicky than I like. Like they would put the cards in like a giant piece of plastic, and
Right, it was
it's
hefty.
everything's
It
a
was a
101, and it's all about you got to be on a special list to buy
Right.
them and all that stuff. So
To me, it's more of a testament of marketing in 2020 in 21st century marketing with with social media
Yeah.
and stuff. So I mean, kudos to guys like that can build something out of nothing.
Well, I would say even Gas was a pandemic brand.
Oh, for sure.
And a lot of great, a lot of horrible things obviously happened during the pandemic, but I guess to look at any of the bright side of it, a lot of people started businesses that are still going and still successful. It gave a lot of people time to think and be creative, and sort of was the beginning of kind of the end of sort of retail in a sense, even though now it's coming back. I think people are kind of, the internet, it just can make, this is like all obvious, but I think the other thing that's cool about going to toy shows and I encourage people to go to these shows too, is it's kind of a breath of fresh air to like, go to an actual show, pick up a toy or pick up an object, look at it, talk to the person. 'Cause, one of the fun parts of collecting and even, is buying and kind of being in that atmosphere and meeting other collectors and other dealers. And, it's hard to really have real conversations a lot of times with people in like Facebook groups or on Instagram, and and so it kind of gets you really jaded if you don't put yourself in the real world a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, we go out enough to experience that quite regularly between the flea markets and like for me, going down the toy shop and, with events like this is this month, like these last week and this week is just saturated with like vintage goodness in Southern California. Like, between Geeking Out, which like just recovered from, and then kind of like, reviewing it today. And then we get one more day, and then we got the All American show.
All American show coming up. We'll post it in the. But yeah, there's the
for sure for sure for sure.
So this Friday is the special preview from 11 to 4. It's $40, but if you're hardcore, you go.
I know you always go on Friday before my schedule, or for this reason, that reason I didn't. But I'm like, all right, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, look, I like to go back Saturday because essentially what it is, you can set up the day before, but I think you have to pay a little extra. So Friday, generally, the dealers are coming in and setting up. So it's always good to come back Saturday because honestly, you're definitely gonna miss stuff because it's such a short amount of time, and most of the dealers get most of their booth out, but they're not finishing it till Saturday. So it's always good to come. And then the good thing is on Saturday it's only $10, and if you do go on Friday and pay $40, it is good for both days.
Yeah.
And look,
parking is free.
Actually,
I don't know. Where we
no parking is
for their close parking. You got pay.
So parking is $6 in the lot. But then a lot of people don't realize it, but right on the other side of it is a city parking lot.
Yeah.
On Friday, I think you have to pay, but on Saturday, it's free.
Oh.
You just have to walk a little farther. So if you have trouble walking, obviously. I mean, depending on the situation, I usually just park in the garage, especially on Friday, because if I'm buying something and I got to move, I want to move it to my car. Dude, this is honestly one of my favorite shows. I mean, talk about an old school toy show, and, joking, there are some older dealers, but look, I mean, that's, to me, but over the years, it's kind of become you sort of seeing it changing a little bit. But I like the old stuff, and you can get really good deals. I found some amazing pieces. I was telling you, one of my favorite pickups there ever was I was buying. There was this guy in the kind of side room, and I had never seen him there before, and I ended up buying this giant piece of trench art, which essentially trench art is art that was usually made in theater by soldiers from things like artillery shells. So this was like a giant artillery shell, and he had carved the artist or the GI or whatever had carved these kind of nude ladies into it, and
was that a lamp? Was that one a lamp? Or
no, this one wasn't a lamp, but yeah, people have turned them into lamps before. But it's really cool, and this was early. I think it was It was probably World War II. It might have even been World War I, but I think it was World War II. But it was really cool, and it wasn't cheap. But I bought it because I knew I was even at the price, I think I paid around $200 for it, or maybe $250. But I had sold it, I think, for $500 or $600 because it was a really nice piece. And so I'm about to turn from his booth, and I see this painting, and I said, "Is that?" And he's like, "Yep, that's John Wayne Gacy." And it was a John Wayne Gacy painting of Christ, of Jesus Christ. So it was just a painting of Jesus at Christ. And I still feel bad to this day because I think it was marked $90, which I will say I did sell it later for $3,000. But at the time, I kept it for a bunch of years, but and I felt bad because I talked him down, which I generally like to do. But I just spent $250 on this piece of trench art, so I think I got it for $70.
Right.
And so my point being is not that you want to look, if somebody has something priced and you pay what they have it priced, or you negotiate based on what they have it priced, to me, there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's different if you're disingenuous, like they say, "Oh, I'm not sure. Do you know anything?" But again, my opinion, and the more that I set up and I deal, it's up to the dealer and the seller. You need to do your own research before you come to the show.
Of course.
You say that, but dude, it's crazy sometimes how, people will expect you to tell them about what they have. Right. And it's no, that's not how it works. It's you need to do the research, you need to come out, and you need to protect yourself.
Right.
So that you're not selling it too cheap. And if someone gives you what you ask for and then they turn around and sell it for a lot of money, you can't be mad at that.
Right.
You know, because that's sort of
it happens. That's part.
happens.
Yes, it
It's
comes
part,
with the territory.
It comes with the territory.
I've done the same thing too. Like I see an item for $75 and I'll negotiate it down to $60, and then later I'll go home and research and like, oh, these are going for like $1,000 or something, and it's like, oh, if I known, I wouldn't have really negotiated, right?
Right.
But it's like based on what they were asking, it's like I don't want to pay that much.
You know, on the same side of that coin, like I've said this before, if I can afford it and somebody gives me a good price for something, I generally pay them.
Right.
You know, like if somebody says $10, I'm not asking for $7. Like, especially if the thing's worth $40, right? Like, what's $3? Like, to me, it becomes a little disrespectful when you do that, because you're not taking into consideration the fact that that person had to get up or had to be at the flea market at 3 a.m. They had to source it somewhere. They had to schlep it around. They had to bring it to the booth. You know, for you to only like talk them down $3, just pay the $10, keep it moving. You don't always have to negotiate, but that's just me.
I usually like to deal in zeros and fives anyway. Like everything in between, it's like make it a 0 or 5. Like $5, I'm not tripping on. You know, just make it a 0 or 5.
But look, it's a fun show and it's worth going to. And if you can afford to go on the preview night or the preview day, I think it's a little chaotic, because I guess what I was getting at earlier is you are there while people are setting up their booths.
Part of the fun. It's
But-
part of the fun.
Yeah. So, and I feel like most of the dealers there are like, it's an understood thing that people are going to be trying to buy stuff as you pull stuff out of your box or you pull it out of your wagon or whatever.
Shoulder to shoulder next to some tables. You're like trying to snake around. It's like, it feels like an old school auditorium. Like
It is, yeah.
Not old school, like
It's an old
school auditorium
Yeah.
where it's like, oh, that's where the cafeteria is, you know, like a cafeteria is part of the gym, and it's like, oh, there's the stage because the gym doubles as an auditorium.
I always
and
forget.
stuff.
So it's called the Glendale Civic Auditorium. I always forget the name of it.
I always noted it as the All-American show because
Where it's at though is what I mean.
Yeah, the Glendale Civic Auditorium.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I do like that for me, it was always the All-American show. The first couple of times I went there, they would stop the show at noon and sing the national anthem.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I mean, that was a highlight for me.
But I think they stopped doing that.
Why would you stop doing that?
I don't know. I think someone complained and like now they don't do the national anthem. But I think they should bring it back.
Who's complaining about the national anthem?
I don't know.
Not a patriot.
Definitely not. The only thing for me, and I was telling you this earlier, was like, the only thing is like it would come on and like, oh, say, it's like, it would come on as like soon as you picked up a toy and you were trying to negotiate with the guy, it'd be like, oh, say, can you see? And you're like holding it, like hoping like nobody comes and like grabs it from you. Yeah, take it. You're
right.
The dawn's early light. But yeah, I think they should bring it back. And, look, if anything, Ronnie,
I
Jim,
would volunteer.
If you're listening and you want someone that doesn't give a F and will sing the national anthem at the All-American show,
I may do it
There's
anyway.
nobody more American than Ronnie right here.
I may do it anyway.
I think you should do it
at
anyway.
Noon, I might just start singing the national anthem, and anybody that doesn't join,
Yeah, and you want to fight Ronnie,
is an
then
American.
Yeah,
To come dressed in like
Uncle Sam.
I was gonna say Terry Hulk Hogan, like Hulk Hogan, R.I.P. and sing the national anthem.
Rest in peace
For American beer.
Terry Hulk Hogan.
But yeah, definitely.
Terry, what's his name? Terry.
Was it Terry Hulk Hogan or Hulk Terry Hulk? Yeah, it's like Terry Hulk Hogan.
Something like that.
That was what it wasn't Baywatch. What was the show that he was on? Not Thunder Down Under.
No,
the black sailboat show. We're gonna have to go to our comment section.
You want to go to the comments?
My buddy Kevin says he wants me to sing the national anthem in Chinese.
Is there even there's like probably not even a translation, is there?
I don't think there's a translation.
You'd have to like
Chinese.
make it up.
I mean, it would be like the Chinese anthem for China or like Taiwan or whatever.
Yeah.
Johnny Ryan had asked if there was an Osama bin Laden Mad Ball.
Not yet, but
they should make one.
They should probably make one.
I would want to buy a Johnny Ryan.
A Johnny Ryan football.
Osama bin Laden Mad Ball.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Or a Hillary Clinton one or the other. One of those. Moving on. What else? What else did we want to talk about? I was forgetting.
I was going to show a couple things I got at the flea market.
Yeah,
that
let's bust it out. Maybe
this
that'll
was kind of a fun
organically flow into.
This was a fun
else.
one I was showing you. I've never found. It's not in the best condition, but this is pretty cool. This is a Los Angeles license plate from 1919. It's enameled. And the cool, it's got this, this was like back in the day, instead of like a sticker, they would do these little metal plates. So I think
the star to
the star
for the Jews.
No, the star was just. I think someone was explaining it to me that different years they had. I think it was actually Jim from the All American Show, because I think he was there like when I bought it, or I was showing it to somebody, and yeah, they would have different like. I think they had like a circle some years, and there were like different symbols, but this
like
year
a
happened to be
moon or a horseshoe. They got all the Lucky Charms on the license plates.
This was pretty cool because I like license plates, and I think that these ones I never found one this old, so that was pretty cool.
That is cool. 1919. Jeez,
1919.
That's like over 100 years old.
Yeah, and then this was out of a scrapbook that I got. I got this really cool scrapbook that was it was women in the LAPD. Okay. So the whole thing is filled with all these photos, and like they're going to, police academy, and they're doing all these events and stuff. And this happened to be there, and it was in one of the.
Why don't you show the camera, and I'll kind of describe it.
So it's
what year? From 1970, October 4th, Sunday. Was that an LAPD party flyer at Disneyland?
It's the third annual LAPD party.
Okay.
Couldn't do that these days.
So it started in 1967.
So this was for LAPD active reserve and retired personnel and their families. It was all for just $4. And I think the funny thing is about this is it says admission to Disneyland and limited use of all attractions, shooting gallery accepted, but including the breathtaking Haunted Mansion.
Interesting.
So the mansion must have been. I'm not the best at Disney. Maybe I don't know.
Refurbished or kind of new.
It must have been fairly new. Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know. This is cool. I was telling you earlier. I mean, this is just. I love how. I love the graphic design of it. It's just so colorful. I love how they have Goofy with a cannon,
like a pirate. Yeah.
Like a pirate Goofy. But yeah,
with the gag cannonball sliding out.
Yeah, and I like how it's funny because I guess it doesn't really matter, but the person whose scrapbook it is, their nickname is Legs.
Okay.
So it says in the back it says Legs, and there's a lot of stuff that says Legs. I just think that's a funny name for a.
It was a nickname for a female cop.
For a female cop, yeah,
right?
Legs.
You think they had? I mean, it doesn't matter. I was going to ask, did you think the female cops wore pants or were like skirts back then?
No, in 1970,
pants, right?
they were wearing pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's a stupid question.
Hey, I mean, look.
Because I guess.
I mean, it is early. It's 1970, so it's probably, I mean, dude, women were in the military and like the Ford, I mean, even before that.
But I feel like even female officers, the only time I see them in like skirts, maybe like the Bobbies and like in the UK when they show them, it's like sometimes they're in skirts.
Yeah, I don't know.
But here it's like
no, it's pants.
And like I said, it's neither here nor there. I don't even know why I'm talking about it.
I don't know. Just curious, I guess. Yeah, but those were just like a couple things I bought this weekend.
That was at PC. Oh, you did go to PCC. You went to.
Well, no,
PCC
I went to Rose Bowl.
Oh, Rose Bowl. Okay.
Yeah. I'm still a Rose Bowl guy.
Yeah. I guess I'll bust it out since I brought it. I went to Jimmy's again, and the only thing I brought today was the animal puppet. Oh,
let me see.
Woman. Yeah.
That's like the best puppet. What's interesting is I was talking to someone this weekend about Rock-afire Explosion, and there's a character, Rolf and Earl, and the Earl character is based off the animal puppet.
Okay, you're gonna have to tell me that later. I'm gonna have to look
you have to see it. So if you look up Rock-afire Explosion and you type
Explosion,
which was the animatronic band that was at Showbiz Pizza.
Gotcha.
And that's wow. I don't know if we have enough time for that story, but I will just to give a partial story. When I was, I think, a junior in college, I had my first internship. I had a dual internship. I had one. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I had an internship at a local WB affiliate. like a news station.
So it was like 97, 98.
This was probably 98, 99, like 98 probably.
Late 90s.
And I was sitting at the computer, and I remembered that at the time, I would just type in sometimes on eBay vintage animatronic.
Oh, wow.
Just for fun, just to see what would come up.
Sounds like an expensive search, like anything animatronic.
Well, and one time I opened it up and somebody was selling an entire Rock-afire Explosion on eBay. The whole entire band.
5, 6, 7, 8 pieces? How many
Oh,
pieces?
dude, yeah. So you have Billy Bob on guitar.
Okay.
You got Duke on drums.
Right.
You got Beach Bear on bass. You got Mitzi Mozzarella.
Well,
Just,
you know other names?
just singing.
Okay.
You got Fats Geronimo
Okay.
on the keys.
Okay.
You got Looney Bird
Okay.
that pops up out of the of like the bin, and then you have Rolf and Earl.
Okay, so that's 7 and 8. Wow.
Yeah, but Rolf is like a giant wolf, and Earl Schmerl was this little like kind of puppet that he had on. But if you look at it, it's like if you look at
an animal.
It's like it was definitely like
Pink or orange wild hair.
It was yellow, but it was more. They more took the idea of it being a puppet because the wolf Rolf, the wolf, is actually controlling Earl Schmerl. So he's a puppeteer, but it's its own character.
Okay.
Because it's him controlling it, and if you look at it, it's like exactly like the animal puppet.
Okay, so okay, wow.
It's an animatronic puppet on a puppet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, crazy.
So that's a really long story, but it ended up that it was actually I bought it from Creative Engineering, which was the company who created these back in the day. Okay. Now, this is a super long story. There's a documentary made about it.
So you bought all of them?
I bought all of them.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it was wild. I think I won it for $5,100. I thought it had one bid at $5,000, and I thought it'd be funny to bid on it.
It wasn't on eBay.
It was on eBay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I just thought it'd be funny to bid on it.
The vintage animatronic.
And so my buddy and I went in on it. We like maxed out whatever credit cards we had just to buy it. And then, the whole time I had bought it with the idea to resell it.
Right.
And at the time, though, the guy Aaron, who was like the creator, it's a really long story because like I ended up working for him for a while, and I was like helping him sell stuff on eBay. And then I sold and actually I was working on I was working on a documentary with another friend of mine, and we had logged for months we logged tapes with because he just recorded everything, but he kind of like kicked me out because like he found out I was like I'd sold the robots, and he thought I was like going to keep them or something. But looking back, I mean, I was in college, I had a roommate in a tiny ass dude, I literally for about 6 months I had a giant mouse and a bear in my apartment. and
at least it wasn't a dorm room.
Yeah, and Duke LaRue, the drummer, he actually came with a full drum set.
Oh, jeez.
So we actually had to rent out a storage to hold everything.
Okay.
So it's actually, I mean, the craziest thing about it was, I think we must have been one of the first people not within the inner circle of that company that went in there. Because when we went in there, I mean, it was like time had stopped. And if you know the story, it literally did, because what had happened was this guy, Bob Brock, who was the guy who had, he was the Holiday Inn guy. He was like that was his empire or whatever,
he was
right?
Like the CEO or something?
Yeah, like the CEO or something like that. And he ended up seeing Creative Engineering, their show, at one of these amusement trade shows.
Right.
And he saw it, and look, it's all pneumatic, so it was all done through all these valves and sending, and he created this thing out of buttons from doorbell buttons and so if you see it, it's actually really impressive. And not to mention, he had a recording studio in there, and there was they ended up becoming these local celebrities on the radio station. I think it's 104.1 or whatever. But so he had a recording studio, so they recorded all the music at Creative Engineering. So you would see this show, and so Bob Brock was like, look, hey, I want to build a chain of pizza restaurants, and I want your show to be in it. And it went from this guy, from just a concept to I don't know how many stores opened.
So it was the Holiday Inn guy that blew up the Showbiz Pizza, and this was all before Chuck E. Cheese.
Well, Chuck E. The history's a little fuzzy in my mind, but I believe Chuck E. Cheese had initially opened before, but then kind of when the when the arcade, like when the home arcade stuff happened, and like sort of the arcade was going down anyway. Chuck E. Cheese kind of disappeared, and it was Showbiz, and the attraction of Showbiz really was the band, because it was so good. I mean, the characters were so cool. I mean, even a lot of the people that are still into it, like there was a couple of people that I met that were like mega fans, and I remember asking one of them, I said, what happened? And he's like, I don't know. Like I went and saw a show. I went to like a pizza party when I was a kid. And like I looked up and saw Beach Bear like playing the bass, and I just got like obsessed. And I and he went on. It was this guy named Snapper, actually. I don't know if I haven't talked to him in years, but he actually worked for him for a while and went on to become masterful at like fine tuning these shows, and actually traveled to I think Dubai and like these few
Showbiz Pizza in Dubai?
Well, because now there's really no Showbiz Pizza, but it was somebody that had one,
right? That
needed tuning and stuff. So, and it was just, they looked so good. The problem is that as time went on, everything was being made in Orlando, Florida, in this warehouse. So if somebody had like a broken mask or needed, because the masks were latex, and they were very, latex is very already brittle, and so and then they're moving with this metal pieces, and it's stretching it and stuff, and so and obviously if you don't fix it, it could look creepy real quick.
There's a certain amount of maintenance that goes. Yeah, of course.
And so what happened was and again, this is a little fuzzy stories, but if a restaurant needed a new face for its Fats Geronimo, right? I think it was something, it was like $1,000, and then they had to hire creative engineering's person to come. Like I remember too that it was so specialized. Like he had all these tools that were, you looked at them and you're like, what are these tools? And they were like custom made to do special things that only they could do.
Of course.
And so, again, you could look this all up, but then the history came, basically what happened was, Chuck E. Cheese came back. There's this small time where you see Chuck E. Cheese and Billy Bob Bear together. And, it got to the point where they didn't feel like it was getting later, people weren't so, like this animatronic thing was kind of getting a little cheesy, it was getting kind of old, and they realized like, oh look, we can make these, so what they started doing was they would like take some of his figures and they would like retrofit them as like Chuck E. Cheese characters, and they basically just like blocked them out because they're like, well, why are we going? It's also like a lot of stuff was being started to be made in China and like overseas and stuff. So it's like, well, why do we need to go to this guy? And, they basically bought him out. And then, like I said, we went there in the 90s, like it literally looked like people had just like gotten up off their desk and left. But the crazy thing about it was like he had the whole show there set up where he like tuned the shows. He had this other show that he had made called the Moon Rockers, who were these aliens that lived in the moon, and they were like coming to Earth to warn us about nuclear war, and that from where they were from, they had survived this big war. And
I would go there to eat their pizza. I would want that show while I ate pizza.
Yeah, I almost was like, can I buy that show?
Yeah, right.
That seemed like a show.
I think in the future they would have like I would like to see like a Daft Punk like pizza place where like, oh, they have the Daft Punk show like while you're eating the pizza.
Somebody at God, what's his name? Somebody was telling me though at the Geekin' Out show that and I've seen it. There's some place I think in Kentucky or something where somebody has a show and they have a convention and you can go there. So if you're really into this stuff, you can see it. And I think there's some shows, but there's less and less. But if you could see, I mean, if you could really see a fine-tuned show in person, it is in my opinion a work of art. I mean, you could also, I mean, you've probably seen, I mean, I think the thing that set off the documentary, which I need to watch it, was I think there was a guy who had. The other thing too was that there was there was no way to to program them. The computer that you got with it, like when I bought it, the computer I got with it was like almost this filing cabinet. And as time went on, people realized there's easier ways to do this. And so if one of the most famous videos of it, it's like singing like that like love in the club, in the club, in the club. I think it's like Nelly or something. I don't know, dude. Don't listen to me.
If you're gonna sing into the camera so I can
Gotta make love in the club, love in the club, love in the club.
All right, at least I can cut up.
Yeah, you cut something.
I need to cut something up. I've been kind of lazy this week with the.
Yeah, it's okay, dude. A lot going on, but yeah. Wait.
Sorry, another question. They had just as many video games at the Showtimes as they did at the Chuck E. Cheese, because I never been to a Showtime.
Showbiz.
Showbiz. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I love the video games at the Chuck E. Cheese. Like I like the video games more than the actual.
Yeah,
shows.
I don't. I vaguely like. Showbiz didn't hit me that hard because I barely remembered as a kid. Like, I think I went to it once, but I wasn't, like, it didn't affect me the way that it affected other people.
I remember the first time I ever went to a Chuck E. Cheese for somebody's birthday party, and I had no idea they existed before, and it floored me. I was like, this is it. I'm like, I need to get back here again as
I
soon as
love
possible.
singing Rats.
Dude, it was like, oh, dang, a ball pit.
Oh, yeah.
They had the little ball pits, and then like most arcades, like at the malls, like were for like older kids. My mom didn't like me going to the arcades so much because of the older kids. And then the Chuck E. Cheese was like, it was all like little kids running around. So it's like, that was kind of a safe
I tried
place
to avoid a
for
lot of
kids.
anything like physical. I tried to avoid because I was fat and had asthma. And usually I was like too heavy to play in anything.
Yeah.
Like it was like, oh, you have to be this, like I was over 100 pounds as a child.
Ball pit should have been safe because I was like that too. And
Yeah,
the
but I
ball
don't know
pit
that
seemed
I don't know
safe.
if I could fit through the hole to get in. That was the problem.
I don't think mine had a hold or something like that. Or
I don't know,
maybe
dude. I had a
was
lot
too
of
small
trouble
at
when
that
I was a
time.
kid getting in those things. But I did like a good ball pit.
Yeah. It blew me away that they had that.
Yeah, I guess that I don't remember the first ball pit. Maybe it was Showbiz or Chuck E. Cheese. I do remember Chuck E. Cheese as a kid more than Showbiz. Showbiz was like kind of a weird memory. Like, oh, I kind of remembered that.
Yeah,
But
I didn't
Chuck
know
E.
about Showbiz
Cheese
until I was an adult. And people
Yeah.
were like, oh, yeah, this was the first Chuck E. Cheese. Like, before
Yeah,
then. I
basically
like,
it was.
oh,
It was the first Chuck E. Cheese. And it was a superior show. It was because this dude, I mean, for all his quirkiness and whatever, he's a literal genius. Like he was on, a fortune list with people to tech guys to look out for with, Steve Jobs and Bill Gates.
This was
like
the
that.
Holiday Inn guy?
No, Aaron Fecter,
Oh,
who's
okay,
the guy that's is the CEO of creative
design,
engineering. And, he was the voice of Billy Bob. He's the voice of Ralph and Earl.
Okay.
So that was the really interesting thing is, he played, he had all these characters and, and stuff that he, I don't know. It's just interesting because I feel like it was when I was sort of thinking about it and watching all these videos and stuff, he was able to be artistic through this creation that he had made. Where like if he was just if he's just some dude, like trying to be a rock star, it'd probably not go that far.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But he was able to express himself and kind of create this character that he could, he always did have like I said that like the Moon Rockers, he always kind of had these sort of like kind of messages, like positive messages for kids and stuff, you know, for the most part. So
Right. No, I always thought the animatronics for anything like you see that like Disneyland or whatever, like they're always impressive. Like
the
that
ones
kind of
at
stuff.
the ones at Disney are like next level. Like a lot of I think some of the guys that worked for him went on to work at Disney, and those are
Speaking of Disney,
Yes.
this is interesting to bring it there. Did you see? We all know, like what was it when Banksy was here? They put that Guantanamo Bay guy like at the runaway train ride. That was one of the last times you heard somebody sneaking somebody in there.
Oh,
somebody
yeah,
there.
yeah.
So recently, I don't know if you saw.
Yeah, I did. The Ben and Jerry.
I don't know if the Ben and Jerry. I don't know.
No,
what that
they
is.
were behind it.
Okay.
One of the Ben and Jerry guys was behind.
yeah.
Oh, you tell the story. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Yeah.
right. Someone snuck in at It's a Small World, a doll that said "Remember Hiroshima."
Yeah.
Like right at the end of when you're going to exit the Japan section of
Yeah.
It's a Small World. It's a that's exactly. It's just a kid in tattered clothing with a sign that says "Remember Hiroshima," and it's just. Of recent memory, it's like, it just brought me back to Banksy because he was the last guy to sneak something in there. But you're right. I guess it was like, I don't know their names, but it was Ben or Jerry.
Gonna make love in the club, hey, in the club, hey. Yeah, no, I think it was one of the Ben and Jerry guys.
Okay.
And but actually, what the other you bring that up is funny because remember when I was looking up that flyer, which was in October of 1970, the cop flyer. In August of 1970, there was actually a protest by the Yippies.
That's right.
I remember, and they actually, it was actually funny looking up. So it was actually in August of 1970. I guess these Yippies decided they were going to do some kind of activism at Disney.
Are you saying yippies or hippies? What's a yippie? What's a yippie? I know what a hippie is.
It was
What's
called like Youth in Protest. It was like Youth in Protest.
Okay, so it's like an activism group.
Yeah, I always thought it was like hippies meets yuppies. But
right,
it was
but
like
that doesn't make sense.
No, so yippies was like youth in what did I say? Youth in protest.
Okay.
So it was like it's like I'm a hippie, but I'm like I'm not just like peace man. Like I'm an activist, right? So I guess when I was reading it though, not many people came, but enough people came and they basically marched to Tom Sawyer Island.
Okay.
And changed and replaced the American flag with the Viet Cong flag.
What?
And then started like singing and stuff. And then I guess there was some melee in the middle of Main Street and the police had to come and they got all kicked out. But it's funny because I don't think I'd ever heard of that before.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I was researching the LAPD flyer, I was like, oh, well, some of those cops that probably arrested some of the yippies were like, I'll see you in a couple weeks at a LAPD day. I don't know why they have a Southern accent, but...
It's interesting that they'd want a protest at Disneyland back then. I guess there weren't a lot of other
I think it was just
protest.
it was like obviously just a very, it's like, oh, this is American culture, right? But like, come on, Disney's, it's fun. It's fun for kids.
Right. It is. Yeah. And some adults. I'd like to go back again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I know Lisa really wants to go back. I haven't been in a while.
I was there, like around Christmas time last year. I think we're making it a new kind of family tradition. Me and the cousins get together, do a Disneyland thing around Christmas time.
Yeah.
Pilot the Millennium Falcon, get drunk.
I did take acid once at Disney. Or I didn't take acid. I took mushrooms. That was like the worst thing ever.
I ate mushroom chocolates.
Were we together or no?
We weren't together. But I mean, I remember like from the get-go, we went on Star Tours, and the line for Star Tours, I took some. By the time we were out, we went on Buzz Lightyear, and I was like looped already.
I didn't like it, man. I would say that's one place that I won't do mushrooms again.
This is the trick. You eat the mushrooms, and then you go to Olgun's Cantina, and you get, kick back some drinks. And then the drinks kind of loosen you up.
Yeah.
So then you kind of enjoy the rest of the ride. So then once you go on Millennium Falcon, you're like, I'm in no condition to fly a plane. And they're like, you can be an engineer. Like,
I hate
perfect.
That. I hate that, though, when you're in the back and you just have to press the button. And you're like, that doesn't do anything.
I just came from Olga's Cantina.
And then the worst is when you have somebody there that can't even press the button when it lights up. You're like, at least fucking press it. Like, if you're going to do it, just play along and press the damn button.
That's why you go to Olga's Cantina first. You kick back some drinks. You go on the thing, and you're just having fun. You're like, I don't care. This is the best time I've ever had. Yeah, pressing buttons and lights and.
I think I'll just stick with weed and maybe a little bit of alcohol.
Yeah, you're no fun.
I don't know, dude. Maybe definitely when it's not this hot out.
Oh yeah. That's why I go in December.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
Go in December, but
that's
I mean,
true.
December Disneyland. You guys, come with me. Watch me eat some mushroom chocolates. Las Vegas for decon.
Mushroom turkey leg.
Gross. No, it was the hack with the turkey legs is the spicy pickles. The turkey legs with the spicy pickles.
Oh, dude, eating a turkey leg in any context is disgusting.
Delicious.
Eating one at Disney is even more disgusting. It's like
it's the only place I'll ever.
I'm gonna go protest turkey legs eatings at Disney.
More power to you. I'd like to see you.
They're
do
like
that.
Franken turkeys. I've never seen a turkey big with that leg. Every time you see a turkey at the White House, they're not that big.
Well, they're covered with fur and feathers and stuff. I mean, by the ankles and
no,
you know,
those are Franken turkeys.
Frankenhooker turkeys, Frankfurter hooker turkeys.
No one's ever supposed to eat a turkey like that big. I don't believe it. I think even with all that fur, I think they're just growing legs.
Only at Disneyland are we doing that. Oh, that's gross.
Oh, dude,
just
how gross would that be
growing.
if they had some weird like underground thing where it was like some scientist just like growing legs out of like turkey atoms or something, and it's just like the legs are ready.
That reminds me of the Rick and Morty where they take the corpses and the suicide
eat the
corpses
spaghetti. Yeah, that was. Oh,
That's a whole
it's so
other thing.
that episode is so good, but it's so disgusting because they do that slurping sound, and you're just like. You're like, I like good. And then it sucks because it's like, you think about it, you're like, damn, like, it would be weird if you were eating, like, because sometimes, like good spaghetti is really good. And
Say that to good spaghetti.
good spaghetti is really good. Yeah, that episode creeps me out, but it's funny.
I love it.
Yeah, I love it
just
too.
reminds me of that weird food stuff. But,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do like the free, I think my favorite thing at Disney is getting the free sourdough bread. Cafe Adventure or California Adventure.
How do you get it for free?
They give you like a little sample because they make it, and then this is a kind of a there's
California Adventure. I never go there.
oh yeah, that's I mean if you go there, but it's kind of funny because like I think you can buy like a whole loaf of bread for like $7 or $8. So it's kind of funny because like
That's kind of like what it costs like in normal.
so what
world,
you should
too.
do, see if you were a G, what you do right is you go to California Adventure, you buy a whole giant sourdough bread, right? You figure out a way. You probably can't bring in a knife, so you just use your hands, break it open, okay?
Okay.
Then you take that turkey leg and you wrap it around the sourdough bread and you pull.
Oh, yeah.
Then you got a turkey
sandwiches.
You got a turkey hero, like just a giant sandwich. And then, see, I would appreciate that if someone was walking around with a giant turkey sandwich and they had to do all that work. They do California Adventure, get that bread, get that thing, and then they're eating it. Oh, all right, you could do that,
Dude, that's a great idea for from a vegan. Jeez, wow,
dude.
I'm
Look,
impressed.
hey, I'm an understanding vegan. I understand not everybody can be as enlightened as me. You know,
no, that's good. That's
you
good.
know,
We're
some
learning
people just
things.
have to eat, but you know, I don't know anyone's ever done that. Maybe I'll do that next time. Like we could do a video based on it.
I would record that video. And I would eat
Sourdough
that
turkey
sandwich.
leg sandwich.
I'm so down. I know exactly where to get them too.
Yeah.
I don't know where to get the bread, but we'll get the bread and
Get
then
the
we'll
bread,
turkey legs.
make a big turkey grinder.
Now we got to do it. These people are going to want to see this.
Eat that in line at the Star Wars ride.
Oh, careful of this jar of worms you're opening up. Our viewers are going to want to see this stuff, man. Oh man. So, all right. Anything? Anything kind of to add?
I mean, I guess just it's not coming up for a while, but I am excited to announce that I will be setting up at the Rare Books LA.
Books.
Rare Books LA at Union Square, historical Union Square, where they shot Blade Runner.
I forgot what quote it's from, but I heard one time some woman or somebody said, never have sex with someone that doesn't have books in their house.
I think it might have been John. I know John Waters said that.
I think it was them. So yeah, that's why I was like, oh, I need to get some books.
Yeah, so this is a fun one. This is way more, if you've ever been like, you know, I sell more like antique collectible stuff, you know, fun stuff still. But this year is cool because Guillermo del Toro, Netflix is a sponsor, and there's something going on with Guillermo del Toro.
Wait, Netflix is sponsoring a book thing?
Yeah, bro.
What?
This is the real deal.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, Guillermo del Toro is there's something to do with Frank. They're gonna, I guess, Frankenstein. You know, one of the most famous books. That's
okay. Mary Shelley's
Frankenstein.
Okay.
So, you know, he has a movie coming out. He's doing a Frankenstein movie. So I think it's gonna, and he's always there. Like he's always a customer there.
Cool.
But anyways, yeah. So I mean, it's not till October, so I'll talk about it more.
We'll talk
but
about it more.
I just got some of the postcards from Jen and Brad who put the show on. So I just wanted to give it a shout out.
Jennifer Aniston and Brad.
Jennifer
Bradley
Aniston
Cooper.
and Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. That's how I was like.
Yeah,
Bradley
they're big book dealers.
Heck yeah. Right on.
All right. Well, yeah, that's
cool.
show 6 in the bag.
Kinda. Thanks so much, guys, for tuning in. Whether you're with us on YouTube or catching a replay
And
on one of
please
the audio
smash the
sources.
like button, subscribe, follow, comment. Let us know what you like or don't like about the show. And yeah, have a great day.
Peace out, guys.